Hey guys, Zach Marsh here, and welcome to what is the final episode of the unboxing of Isaac, except for real this time. So, if you guys know, I had previously unboxed 12 boxes for the unboxing of Isaac for the past 12 years, for the past year actually. Over the past year, I have unboxed a series of boxes sent by Maestro Media and Edmund and his team, and they have sent. Essentially, what the unboxing of Isaac was, they sent 12 shirts throughout the course of 12 months, each with cards, a new shirt, new stickers, a new postcard thing that you can hang on your wall, those kinds of things. What it doesn't tell you though is that there's actually a secret 13th box that eventually comes in the mail, and that's what we're opening today. So the 13th box is a special box. It only came to those who either ordered the full year pre-order, which was just all 12 boxes plus the 13th one in one large bulk order, or you did what I did and you ordered it on the monthly basis and it came through all 12 and you got them all from the very beginning. That is when the 13th box actually comes in, and the 13th box is a bit unique to celebrate those kinds of things. It's the one that it's a little bit different than the other ones. We'll get to that. But yeah, in case it is a little bit different, it's supposed to showcase that it's the finale, and it's got a couple of interesting new things that don't really fit the same mold. But yeah, we're gonna open the box, and it is gonna be an interesting little thing if I can figure out how to get it to open. But that's why it's not open. It's the wrong side. Okay. All right. All right, but anywho, we've got one last little story from Edmund, and then we'll get into the cards and the boxes and all the other things, because there are some unique things in here that are different from the others. In any case, which one's okay, this one. All right. If you were getting this message, that means you're a part of a secret club, the Cool Kids Club. In this club, we only wear unboxing of Isaac shirts and nothing else. In this club, we hoard and frame everything that comes inside each box, including the box itself. And I think it's time for you to learn the club's secret handshake. You start out by extending your left hand, middle finger forward, facing another club member. Each member then bites down on the exposed and hangnail on the other member. Don't bite too hard, just hard enough to get a good grip. And then both participants should fall backwards. As the hangnail pulls up through the finger, or the weight of each person's body should continue to tear all the way to up the finger, but stop short of the knuckle of the hand. In case of accidental tear, you should then start over, but with the pointer fingers. As you both stand there laying backwards, held by your hangnail skin, you should then start humming now our theme song. It goes like this. I did not do that correctly at all, but you get my point. In any case, hold the last note until you both are brought to climax, losing the grip you both had on each other's hangnail and dropping you backwards on the ground, satisfying both sexually and emotionally. Now you finally met your life partner and fellow club member. Congratulations, don't invite me to the wedding, Edmund. Alright, and this is just a funny little thing to be like, yeah, only certain people got the 13th box, so you're a bit of a special elite group. In any case, there's a couple of interesting things that are in here. I understand. Okay, so to iterate, here's what I'm gonna explain first and foremost. I'm actually gonna do this. Well, actually no. I'm gonna put this off to the side, and we'll get to this in a minute. But I will explain this in a minute. There is more to this. I'm gonna put these off to the side. But yeah, there's a bit of a special explanation that needs to go along with this. So in case we have the card, and it's just the Who Am I start screen. That's what it is. And also, I believe Edmund signed it. Yes, he signed it with a little Ash signature, which is cool. But yeah, this is the final card. I now have all 13. Although, yeah, I all have all 13. But in any case, yeah, that's it for that. And then the T-shirt. And the final T-shirt is the same thing but bigger, and it is a special it's just a special T-shirt. Essentially, that's what it is. It is unique. It has its own Well, it is somewhat unique, but we'll get to what's special about this box in a couple of minutes once I show you guys the shirt. Yeah, in this one is pretty cool. I like the design on this shirt a lot. It's really cool, really well designed. It's black, so can't really wear this during the summertime, being perfectly honest. I will probably wear this in like the winter or something, because this is too hot. Because the thing about black shirts is they draw in a lot of heat, which in turn makes you very hot and sweaty and also may make you pass out. I speak from personal experience because that happened to me on a trip to Great Adventure once. Not the recent trip that I posted about on Twitter, but it was a thing that happened. I went to Great Adventure. I wore a shirt similar to this one that was all black because it was a school field trip. I should probably explain the story, but it's a school field trip. The people in charge of the field trip were idiots, and they decided to give all the kids black shirts on a hot day, and I wound up passing out from that. And then I just wound up, and ironically I was in the ride for a log flume, but that's beside the point. But yeah, don't wear black shirts during the summer. It's the long and short of that. Because be smart, learn from not really my mistake, but learn from my experience. Don't wear black shirts when it's hot out. You will pass out and need proper fluid and hydration, and it is gonna be a mess for you. But in any case, that is gonna do it for that. And then I'm still not at we also got the sticker, which has all of the Who Am I things on it, which is cool. This is the sticker. And then I'm gonna once again put these guys up to the side. But yeah, we've got a couple of unique things here that I will talk about. But yeah, we're gonna put this up to the side as. Okay, they are the same size. Okay, I was okay. We'll explain that in a minute. But in case, we also got, in addition to that, we've got hand-drawn versions of a couple of different characters from the game, because we didn't have that before. But I believe there are 3 in here. Yes, we've got and we've already discussed all of these characters before, but these seem to be the reprinted. These are the reprinted versions of the characters with alt art things. So we've got alt art Isaac, who is hand drawn, and he's pretty cool. He has the same exact effect as base Isaac, so we're not gonna go into much detail about him. We've also got and then we got this, where we have an update where we have Cain, and Cain was updated, I think, because recently, because the thing about Cain is that it's stated in the rules that if you have Cain, you go first. That is the game. That is how you decide who goes first. Otherwise, you just roll for it, and then whoever gets the highest roll goes first. But usually, if you have Cain, he goes first. So Cain is kind of important. And then we got the Lost, and this is the updated version of the Lost, which is, the updated rule set for the Lost, where he has a couple of new things that make him a little bit more viable to play as. I mean, you can recharge a character, but you still die in one hit, so be careful with him. And that is where I'm going, and that is where I would normally leave that, except we've got something new that I have not covered before, and is a bit unique to this box. So, one thing I haven't really gone over yet is challenges. And this game came with a full one in print with hand-printed instructions. So this one is designed to explain what challenges are, how they work, and that's about it. It explains what they are, how they work, what the rules are, and it's for this challenge specifically. And yeah, this is it. These are the challenge rules. I should probably read these because they're a little bit longer. And I get the feel, and yeah. Okay, we also got a page for solitaire and co-op rules and challenge rules, which are on the website, but aren't really explained. And these are probably going to go straight in my box because I get the feeling they're going to get ruined and bent out of shape and all those things. These are going to go straight in my box, and I'm going to maybe turn them into a trifold so that they just go in the box and are safe. Because I don't want them to get ruined because they're kind of important. Or rather, I mean, because I think these are the only copy of the rules you get. So you got to be careful with them. I don't know what I'll do with them. I need to put them in the box somewhere safe. But I don't in my big boy box. But I don't know where. But in any case, And here are the rules, but in any case, this comes with the rules and explains and complains the setup. And we do have, and it does, and this is unique in that it's the first challenge to come with actually printed cards. Otherwise, and we'll show the cards in a minute, but otherwise you have to DIY it yourself. You have to buy some cardstock, you have to print them out of your printer, and then you just glue it onto the cardstock and you've got homemade cards, which is a cool idea. But this is the first one to actually come with proper printed cards, which I find kind of cool. But in case, Day of the Doodler. Isaac often dreams he could escape reality and live in the world of his own crudely drawn creations. Thanks to the Doodler, that dream is becoming a nightmarish reality. For many of the basement's dancers, it is already too late. For Isaac, there just might be a chance. With unhinged abominations being doodled out of thin air, it won't be easy, but defeating this two-dimensional menace might just be the only way to save yourself from being stuck as a sketch forever. Cards needed: the Doodler, blank canvas, and the Day of the Doodler. And we'll get to that in a minute. But in any case, the challenge is won when the Doodler dies. The challenge is lost if the timer reaches 16. Okay, so that's probably why they gave us 2 dice so that they could actually do this challenge. That makes a bit more sense. But in case, dimensional downgrade. At each turn starts, the active player rolls a 1, 2, 3. If the active player doesn't have a doodle counter on them, put a doodle counter on them. Otherwise, remove a doodle counter from them. Dimensional downgrade 2, and then there's and these are additional difficulty things. But at each turn starts, the active player doesn't have a doodle counter on them. They roll 1, 2, 3, put a doodle counter on the active player. Forever flat. If the player is playing with a doodle counter on them would roll dice, they flip a coin instead. If the coin lands on tails, the result of the roll is 1. If they add 1, and then add 1 to the timer. If the coin lands on heads, the result of the roll is 6. Then if the results have been 6 twice or 3 times in a row, then depending on the difficulty, I should mention. I will explain that, but there are difficulty versions of this. But in a roll for that player, remove a dual counter for them. I was using that. Add 1 to the timer. Remove an eraser counter from up to 2 or 1 difficult items. And then the way you set up is that there's 3 difficulties for this. There's hard, normal, hard, and ultra hard. And ultra hard is the last 2 where you'd remove 1. But you set up normal and for solitaire co-op, and there are rules for solitaire and co-op as well. If you don't have them, these are here. But they are here for if you need them as well, and I'll probably go into those as well. Yeah, you're supposed to set up as it says in the instructions. In this case, and we'll get to the cards. In that case, yeah, you forever flat, and then getting started is the way that. Okay, so we'll explain this. But I'll have to show, and then there's also a competitive variant and FAQ stuff. But we'll get to those because those are here. Those are all here. They should be at least. Is that how this? I see. Which one's which then? Are they all? I didn't realize they were printed back to back. That makes a bit more sense. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know which one's which, so I guess we'll. Oh wait, they're marked. Okay, never mind. I'm an idiot. They're marked. Yeah. Okay. Let's start with. This is the thing. Here's the thing. We're gonna start with these cards because these cards are. Well, they're final boss cards, essentially. So you've got you've got 2 challenge sets for the cards, which is cool. I'm gonna see if I can get both of the challenge cards first. But yeah, here's the Day of the Doodler thing for each of the different difficulties, and they're marked, so you can tell which one is which. I've learned that now because there's a little mark in the corner. But yeah, they're all exactly the same, but the rules are different. This is the idea. There's 4 of these back to back, and they're essentially the same in all of the designs, but the rules are different. And actually, the art is slightly different if you're doing the ultra hard version. So I guess I will show also ultra hard and competitive. So I guess I should also show ultra hard and competitive because they're different. But here's ultra hard, where you can tell it's the same design, but it's a little bit more scuffed because harder difficulty. And then competitive, everything's on fire because you're competing head to head. And I do like that little distinction of it. But in case, let's start with one of these. We've got Day of the Doodler. As each turn and this is for the for the normal difficulty. But as each turn starts, the active player rolls a 1 to 3. If the active player doesn't have a duel counter on them, put a duel counter on them. Otherwise, remove a duel counter from them. If the player with a duel counter on them would roll a dice, they flip a coin instead. If the coin lands on tails, the result of the roll is 1, then they add 1 to the timer. If the coin lands on heads, the result of the roll is 6, then if their coin has landed on the heads twice in a row for the roll, remove a duel counter from them. And then for Keshet, it's 1 to the timer, remove an eraser timer from up to 2 items. And then Day of the Doodler is... And then Day of the Doodler 2-star seems to be exactly the same. Except it's more difficult because you only lose a counter from an item, and then I believe and then you have to and then the difference is the difference for ultra hard is that the roll has to be 3 times instead of 2 to actually count. And then with the competitive variants, it's essentially the same thing, but the rewards are upgraded since you're... Well, actually, I believe they're a bit more restrictive. Since you have to kill them all before the other player. That's the gimmick of the game. You have to get rid of them. And here's the Doodler himself. And let's start with his 1-star variant. And then same deal here. They're double-sided, and they have different things. But the idea of it is that it's supposed to be you play through the game. The idea of it is that you play through the game, but you have to kill these guys, and you have to follow a specific set of rules, or you can't kill them because they're final bosses for challenges, and that's what the point is. But in any case, the Doodler. Let's start with the 1-star variant because it's all on this side. When the number of souls controlled by all players is less than 6, this can't be attacked or take damage. At the start of each turn, if there are less than 2 minions in play, put a blank canvas in a minion slot. Each time a minion dies, subtract 1 from the timer. At the end of each turn, the active player rolls. 4 to 6, put an eraser counter on a random item without an eraser counter controlled by a player. It loses all abilities except Eternal for as long as it has an active counter on it. And then, this is just remove. So essentially, what this goes on to is that so in any case, this is one of those things where it's like you subtract a timer. You're supposed to kill his monsters to keep his timer low. If I'm reading this correctly, you're supposed to kill his monsters to keep his timer low. And then at the end of each turn, and then if there's a monster that's not currently on the field, you just summon it back. And then also he can neutralize your starting item, which can be a mess. And then essentially where the difficulty comes in is that's the same effect, but made more difficult. If you're less than 2 minions, and then the general difference between the 2-star is that you have to have 7 souls or more to be able to attack the guy directly. For the combined combination of the players, the game doesn't end if you have 4 souls like it normally would, because the idea is to kill this guy. You're supposed to kill this guy, which means you gotta work together with your teammates to get everything you can get, and that includes getting souls, getting those kinds of things. And that's where kind of the challenge comes in. You just put a counter and it loses all abilities, and then you have to roll to get them back. And then the 3-star is just another more difficult version of this, but I will show it because it's a little bit more scuffed again. And then also the competitive variant is on the other side. The Doodler, and then the 3-star one is, well, you have to have a combined soul count of 8. You have to subtract 1. You have to continue to put. And then obviously the rules that are already in play means you can only remove the thing from one item at a time. So that's what the effect is. And then competitive variant is a little bit different. The competitive variant, it's designed to be you have to kill the thing, and everybody else is trying to compete to kill the thing. So the challenge, that's where the challenge comes in. But in any case, when the active player controls less than 3 souls, this cannot be attacked or take damage. So and then this is similar. You have to, the price is lower, but everybody else can do it as well. So you're not working together with this one. You're working to try and beat the boss first. And then each time a minion dies, remove half the sketch counters from the active player rounded up. So yeah, you gotta remove at the end of each turn the active player rolls. Yeah, and this is essentially players with 3+ sketch counters on them must attack a random minion once a turn if able. So it just forces whoever the active player is to attack it. That's essentially the only thing here that's different, which I find kind of cool. But in any case, now it's time to actually discuss the monsters that are in this because he does come with his own unique monsters. He does come with two unique monsters, which I do find kind of cool. Yeah, we've got blank canvas. This is the first one, and I'm going to show the other one. The effects are exactly the same. So, but here's the second one, and it's a little bit different, but still the same monster. And I'm gonna read the one because they have the exact same effect. So here's how they work. As this enters play, reveal cards from the top of the monster deck until you reveal 3 non-event monster cards. This has the health, defense, and health, evasion, and attack of the first, gains the abilities of the second, and has the rewards of the third. Put the revealed cards outside the game. When this leaves play, put them into this card. Essentially what this is this goes into a minion slot. And the way it works is that, and I don't think you're supposed to use this in a regular game. I think these two little idiots just go off by themselves. These guys, how they work is they come into play only during the day of the dueler thing, during the day of the dueler challenge, and they serve as minions. And you are supposed to kill them to make the challenge easier on yourself, but he will always respawn them, and they don't stay in the discard forever. And and I should mention, these guys, this is the only challenge to have its own unique minions, because otherwise you're supposed to pull a monster slot from a monster out of the monster deck and put it into a minion slot, and that's your minion. But of course you don't have. And of course, if the game uses an existing card, you can use that as a boss as well if you don't feel like printing them all out. But I would recommend it because it's a lot more fun that way. Because you need the effects. You need to make sure that they're on the board for those kinds of things, and that's about it. But and then you fight and then you just fight the dude. And then that's the idea. You use the card you already have, but with the custom stats set up for the challenge. This guy is unique. He's the first one to actually be pre-printed out. So he has his own printed out versions of he has his own printed out minion cards, which I find kind of cool. But you just fight this thing, get its reward, and it's kind of a combination of different monsters. So it's designed to be, it's designed in a way where it'll just pull things from the monster deck, and you're just supposed to fight them, and then you kill it, and that's kind of cool. But also, while I'm here, there's also solitaire and co-op rules, as well as challenge rules, and I should go over those. But yeah, solitaire is fun. The idea is that you play two characters at the same time, but I'll go into that. In any case, setup. Shuffle the treasure, loot, and monster decks. Also shuffle the room decks if you are playing with it. Set aside space for a discard zone next to each of these decks. In case you decide on the number of cents in the game in the game's cent pool. This must be at least 100. Place the top 2 cards in the treasure deck face up next to it, forming 2 starting shop slots. These are the starting shop items. Put the top 2 cards in the monster deck up face next to it, forming 2 monster slots. And this is just how you set up the game normally. If you're playing with a room deck, put the top card of the room deck next to it, forming a room slot. This card will be the starting room. Deal a random character card to each player, as well as that character starting item. Characters start the game deactivated on the turn sideways. Starting items steal the game's start the game charged, turned upright. Deal 3 loot cards and 3 cents net to each character. Each character puts on a loot card in their hand. Put out the D8 with the 8 side facing up. This is the timer. And yeah, that's essentially what you have to do. You have to beat the game in 8 turns. It's fun. But it's fun but difficult to do, so I recommend using It Lives or Mom's Heart if you have those for your first game. I would recommend doing that because that's what I did, because Mom's Heart and It's Live have a unique thing where if you kill them, they will give you they're essentially an automatic win condition. So if you kill them, they will give you a thing. But if you kill them, they will automatically win the game for you. So that's why I recommend picking them first. But in case playing the game, for Solitaire, one person controls both characters. For co-op, each character is controlled by a different person. For the sake of the abilities and targeting, each character is considered a separate player, even if they're both controlled by the same person. But in case, once you have decided on the starting character, please play proceeds as normal, playing as one character at a time. The turn order of the characters will stay the same for the whole game. At the end of each round, when both characters' turns are over, the timer ticks down one by one. The objective is to beat the challenge before the timer reaches 0. If the timer ever does reach 0, you lose. But yeah, you have to get 4 souls before the game ends, or you lose, and that's the difficult part. It's kind of a challenge mode. You're supposed, obviously, you can take as long as you want playing the game in co-op because, you know, it's a party game. You're designed to play it with four players at the very least. But Solitaire mode, no. The challenge comes from playing the game yourself and trying to see how good you can get at it. And that's essentially what the game is. In any case, and other rules, each character has a separate scent pool and hand, even if they are controlled by the same person. The other scent pool or hand of each character should be mixed, but you can play with the loot cards in each hand facing up. This also means you should not trade scents between others' characters in Solitaire or co-op mode. When any souls are gained, each character is considered a separate player, even if it's controlled by the same person as above. That means that each character will end up with their own soul, which shouldn't be mixed. There's no limit to the number of souls that each can control. You don't play with any bonus souls in Solitaire or co-op mode, so that means no soul of greed or anything like that. You can't play with those. Or the strawberry, I guess, from Celeste, since that's also a bonus soul now. But at the step end of the phase, where the active player is able to choose to put a room in the discard if a monster has died during that turn. If the top card of a room slot hasn't changed for a whole round, put that room in the discard. Cards with a 3+ player icon should be removed. If you come across a card with this icon while playing, simply put it into one side and place it with another card of the same type. Although the rules remain unchanged from standard competitive gameplay. So it's essentially the same idea. But here's the challenge rules. Final boss slots. Final boss slots are a special new type of slot. They exist separately to regular monster slots. A monster in a final boss slot can't be covered and also can't leave the slot for any reason unless otherwise specified. A monster in a final boss slot is still considered a monster, just as if it was a monster slot, and can be targeted by any abilities or loot that target monsters. A monster in a final boss slot is also considered a final boss. When declaring an attack, the active player may choose to declare an attack on a monster in a final boss slot. A monster in a final boss slot has boss armor. That means that if a monster in a final boss slot would be killed outright by an ability, rather than taking damage, or if it would take one instance of more than 3 non-combat damage, instead takes 3 damage. So they take fixed damage depending on how much damage you deal with your ability. So you can't outright kill them. You have to play the game the normal way. So obviously, which means you can't kill the Doodler outright with an ability that causes more damage than that, because he's supposed to be, you know, a final boss, which means he can only take about half the damage he otherwise would. So he takes at least 2 turns of the ability affecting him, but that's probably not going to happen. If a monster in a final boss slot is defeated, it dies as normal. The challenge in question will tell you what happens next. Often means you have been beaten the challenge. And minion slots. Minion slots are a special new type of slot, and we're talking about these guys now. Minions are a special new type of slot that exists separately to regular monster slots. Unless it is killed, a monster in a minion slot can't leave that slot for any reason unless otherwise specified. Monsters in a minion slot are still considered monsters, just as they were in a monster slot, and can be targeted by any abilities or loot that target monsters. A monster in a minion slot is also considered a minion. When declaring an attack, the active player may choose to declare an attack on a monster in a minion slot. If you are instructed to put a monster in a minion slot, you expand the monster's minion slots by 1 and put that monster in a new minion slot, unless otherwise specified. You may only put a card in a minion slot when specifically instructed to do so. If a monster in this monster's minion slot dies, it dies as normal. Minion slots are temporary, however, and so are not refilled when they are empty. If an event is put in a minion slot, its ability trigger and is put in discard when they have resolved, just the same as if it was put in a monster slot. And then the timer. When playing a challenge, the timer only ticks down at the end of each round, or when you are otherwise instructed to. It does not tick down each time a character dies, like it does the regular Solitaire co-op play, unless the challenge in question tells you it does. Being a challenge, the goal of the challenge will be listed, and the challenge is only won when the goal is met. If any other ability would choose a player as a winner or otherwise end the game, you simply keep playing until either the goal is achieved or the challenge is lost. So essentially this means that regardless of what the monster is, it can't trigger a premature game over because the final boss slot overrides all of that. Like, for example, if say Mom's Heart winds up being, as an example, say Mom's Heart, or It Lives, shows up is the epic boss for that round, and you kill it, the game doesn't end with him. The game doesn't end with them dying, like it normally would. The game just keeps going as normal, and any abilities that would otherwise end the game prematurely are overridden and do not end the game. You can only win the challenge by killing the final boss. That is it. And essentially, that's all that she wrote for this. But overall, pretty fun box. I am pretty happy with everything. This is the first boss. I have to put these. I'm probably gonna have to put these. Use one of my dividers to put these guys in a separate space. Because I don't think you're supposed to be able to play with them normally. They just go off on their own. You're not supposed to play with them normally. But you're just supposed to stick them in a separate slot, and that's what the game is. You put them in a separate slot and then just play. And I do kind of like that idea. But yeah, that's about all I've got for this game. All I got for this. This was the final boss box, but as I said, it is, well, that's pretty much it. It's just the final arc of the game. This is it. This is the final box. So yeah, and they just decide to go out with a bang by not only giving us new versions of characters that we've already got, but also by adding a new challenge, and also the first challenge to ever be printed, which is cool. That is a great idea. You've got all of these challenge cards here, which are designed to be played as a final boss slot, and that's pretty cool. You stick them in a ball and you just play with them, and I believe this just goes up, and I believe one of these challenge boards just goes up to the top of the game where it's easily readable for all parties, and that is what it's designed to be. And then obviously the doodler, I believe, goes under the final boss slot, other the boss monsters, and then his minion slots, I believe, go next to him. But I don't know. I believe that Tabletop Simulator shows you how the layout for the game is actually supposed to look with all these new things. So I don't really know off the top of my head, but that's what I'm thinking it is. So I'm gonna go with that. But yeah, overall, I did like this final box, and unfortunately, it is the final box. So unfortunately, we're not going to be seeing any more of it. Unfortunately, this is the last of the unboxing of Isaac. We're not going to be seeing any more. But well, not anymore for now. Edmund has stated that he may come back and do another one eventually. But this is the final unboxing of Isaac box. This is, well, at least for now. This is it. This is what's in the game, and honestly, they went on with a bang with this one. I do like how they both gave us new instructions for how to play through minion things and how to play through. They gave us abilities to play through the minions and teach us how to play challenges, which I think is cool, and especially since this is the first time we've ever actually gotten a challenge printed, as I stated a couple of times now. But it is cool. There are other challenges I could talk about and go over, but this is the main one, since this is the one. And honestly, all of them play exactly the same like this. Like, literally, the only difference between this one is that this one this one comes with its own custom minions, and that is about it. You just use your existing deck. You print out the minion cards to print back to back on each card, which makes a bit more sense that now that's how that's been established to work. You just print them all back to back. Yeah, you just take this, you print out the challenges, and then the game you just kind of play the game with the new challenges that you got, and that's about it. And there's a couple of these actually. I believe there's Night of Krampus, there's Eternal Delirium, which actually I believe is where where the mouse pad I got came from. I believe that was based on a challenge that got released for Delirium, which there's Unrelenting Delirium. There's a couple of these. I don't know them all off the top of my head. There's Resurrected Ragman, Resurrection Day, I believe is what it's actually called. But yeah, this is Day of the Doodler. It's fun, and I like the idea of it. But in case, that's gonna do it for my review and unboxing of the Unboxing of Isaac. Overall, I liked all the boxes. I do admit that all of them are fun, all of them are interesting, and I do like them all. I'm not really sure which one I like the most. I want to say the Delirium one, because the idea of Delirium having, essentially the idea of Delirium's forms all just being made into cards, actually, because Delirium is already a pain in the ass to fight. But the thing is, he doesn't have any of his forms in the card game. So the fact that they started adding those is fun, and I hope we get more of them. Yeah, because especially since they're designed to screw with you, which is kind of more to my point. But yeah, if you guys enjoy, I hope you guys enjoyed this little playlist. This is unfortunately the final one from me, so we're not going to be seeing any more of this, at least for now. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys had fun with this, and I hope you guys enjoyed this series, because I enjoyed making it, and I hope you guys just enjoyed liking as much as I did making it. But anyways, that's gonna do it for my review of the unboxing of Isaac and my unboxing of it, and all 13 of these boxes now that I now need to figure out how to display, put these cards up on my wall. I'm probably gonna do that at some point. I definitely want to do it at some point. Yeah, we're going to be doing that. I definitely want to play more with the challenges. I need to figure out where to put my challenge rules so that they're safe in my box. I need to figure out where to put those. And honestly, I like the Day of the Doodler design a lot, so I do appreciate that. I need to figure out where to put these challenge cards as well, because they're a little bit bigger than the other cards, and I don't really know where to put them, because I don't think they're going to fit sideways the normal way. Outside of the minions, so I don't really know. I'm gonna have to figure that out. But in any case, that's gonna do it for me. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Twitter in the description below. Be sure to check out my Patreon in the description below as well if you want to help support what I do. It's only a couple bucks a month. It does really help me out. And you guys get access to a bunch of cool perks under my way of saying thanks. So be sure to check those out. Link is down in the description. And also be sure to go and check out my Twitch. Link is down in the description below. I stream Saturdays and Sundays. Please go check that out. And we're going to be doing I didn't really feel like doing it last week, so we're going to be doing a double stream event thing for Pokemon Violet, because, I didn't feel like doing that last week because I was tired. But we're going to be doing that. Yeah, we're going to be doing that. So, yeah, I hope you guys will go do that and go check out those streams. I also hope you guys will continue to... Well, just go check out the videos linked in the end screen as well. The top video is the most recent video. It may or may not be this video. Whereas the bottom video is the video recommended to you based on what you've already seen from me. So probably the other 12 unboxing of Isaac things that I've done, and only the handful of other unboxing videos that I've done. I haven't made many, but I've made a couple at this point. So I hope you guys will check that out. Also be sure, and also just go check out my, Discord as well if you want to connect with me over there. So yeah, just go do that. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!